To the Video Store of the Dead.
Hi, can we Christmas movies?
We talking Jack Frost, Black Christmas, one of the many Krampus movies?
No, I'm thinking more of a Hallmark Christmas movie.
We don't have any of that shit here. I think I got what you're looking for right here. Welcome to the Last Video Store. I'm your host and the manager of the Video Store of the Dead, Bud Hattenfield. And we're in December, so what's better to talk about one of the more known Christmas horror movies, Silent Night, Deadly Night. It was released November 9th, 1974, and it was directed by Charles E. Sellier Jr., written by Michael Hickey. It was based on a book, Sleigh Ride, written by Paul Kami, I think that's how it says, or how it's... I've never done good with Yankee names. So, the movie starts off Christmas Eve, 1971, with Billy Chapman, his parents, and his newborn baby brother going to see the catatonic grandfather in an old folks home. So from there, he comes to life, and the grandpa just scares the shit out of Billy, giving him the truth about old Saint Nick.
Grandpa? Mom!
What do you want her for? She can't help you. Nobody can. You scared, ain't you? You should be. Christmas Eve is the scariest damn night of the year. I'd be scared too if I was you. You know what happens Christmas Eve, don't you? You know all about Santa Claus.
At the same time, we have some unknown man dressed up in a Santa Claus outfit that's robbing a local liquor store. And from there, he shoots and kills one of the clerks. So that's our first dead bodies. Billy and his parents and his little brother, they're on their way back home. And the parents are excited that, hey, you know, Christmas time is coming. And Billy might get to have a good Christmas this year. But when they see that the same man who killed the clerk is now stranded on the side of the road, and Billy starts freaking out, like, no, Mom, let's drive past this. Fuck this guy. Santa Claus a dipshit. Fuck him. So the parents didn't listen, and from there, they stopped just to give Santa Claus a help. And he brandishes a firearm, shoots the dad. They wreck the car. He pulls the mom out of the vehicle, rips her shirt open in very poor taste. We see our first pair of boobs. And she slaps Santa Claus, and it enrages him, and he slits the throat. So Billy had hidden himself on side the road, and we get the baby brother, Ricky, crying in the background. And we jump forward a couple years to 1974, December. Billy and his brother is now living in this hardcore Catholic orphanage by a very shitty Mother Superior. Christmas time is approaching, like I said, and Billy's just having so much trouble. He draws pictures of Santa Claus getting killed, reindeers getting their heads cut off, so Mother Superior is extremely on his ass, hovering. He's out playing in the snow. For some reason, he's inside the orphanage, and he peeks through a door holes and sees a couple having sex. So Mother Superior catches him, and not only beats the two, whoever they were having sex, shit out of Billy. So it's Christmas Day. The orphanage has a Santa Claus, and she forces Billy to sit on his lap. So of course he don't wants to. He fights, but he gets on there and he punches the Santa Claus in the face. So from there, we get a frozen in terror Billy as it jumps forward 10 years later to sometime in 1984. Billy is now a 18-year-old, taller, muscular gent, and he gets a job at Ira's toy store. So everything is good. He's a hard-working fella. Instead of drinking alcohol, he drinks milk. Like, you can really tell, like, this is a good dude until Christmas time approaches. They decorate for Christmas. He sees pictures of Santa Claus, and of course he gets upset, but he's moving along. So when the toy store Santa Claus hurts his ankle and cannot appear on Christmas Eve, for some reason they think it's perfect to put Billy in the Santa Claus suit. So again, he is holding it together. Everything is going good. So while this is going on, we get a shitty employee. I think his name is Andy. And another girl that Billy kind of has the hots for, and vice versa. But when I tell you this fella Andy looks just like Joe Pesci.
To what? What was that word?
What word?
To what?
What?
Did you say Utes?
Yeah.
So now that the store is closed for Christmas season, it's pretty much finished off with everybody in the store, all the employees and the owner, they're all drinking and having fun. Well, Andy and the little female that Billy has a crush on, they start kissing, and for some reason this dude gets enraged and he rips her tops off, and we see our second pair of boobs, which again is in very poor taste, and she's pretty much getting sexually assaulted by this dude. So Billy comes over and slays the fella with some Christmas lights. It's actually pretty cool. Picks him up off the ground with one hand and chokes him to death. Well, the confusing part is that the female that Billy saved is now slapping him, and why could you do that? You're crazy. And this is where he completely flips his shit. So he kills her. He then kills the store owner, Ira. He kills his assistant. From there, he breaks out into the town. He kills two bullies that have pretty much beaten up and stolen some sleds from some teenagers. He goes, for some reason, picks this house at random where Linnea Quigley and her boyfriend Barry from Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, is having sex on top of a pool table in some kind of basement. So he throws the fella out the window. He impales Linnea. It's actually one of the better kills of the movie. So at the same time, the good nun who had taken care of Billy since he was a kid has found out that he's portrayed Santa Claus. So now she's, all right, something's not going to be good. So she shows up to the toy store. She sees the dead bodies, and she's alerted the police. So the police are on a rampage trying to find Billy before it gets too late. And we get a scene where the police breaks into this house, but comes into the house to stop a Santa Claus who's trying to surprise his daughter. And it's an earlier role for Don Shanks, who played Michael Myers in Part 5. So that was a pretty cool cameo. The police are housed at the orphanage, just making sure Billy doesn't return. When one of the cops sees a Santa Claus and he tells him to stop, doesn't stop, shoots him in the back. Turns out that it was a deaf priest playing the role of Santa Claus. So that was kind of a bummer, and he shoots him in front of the kids. So the priest checks the basement, again looking for Billy, and as he's coming up the stairs, Billy hits him in the chest with the axe and kills him. So he makes his way into the orphanage where he goes to kill Mother Superior when he's shot in the back by one of the police officers. So as he falls on the ground, tells him pretty much, you stop Santa Claus, Christmas is safe for now. So Ricky, who's Ricky Chapman, but in the further movies he's Ricky Caldwell. The last part of the movie we see is him saying naughty, and that's the movie ending. Silent Night, Deadly Night was a very fun and interesting slasher movie. We got some pretty cool kills. We got some good gores, scenes. And out of 5 stars, I will definitely give it 4. It is very entertaining and amazing, and I would say check it out. In this movie, we get 14 dead bodies, counting Billy Chapman's. We get 4 pairs of boobs. 2 of them are in somewhat very poor taste, because we start off with the mom and we see it over and over again as she gets her throat slashed. The second pair is, I don't know if it's a nun that's out of her habit or one of the older kids in the orphanage, but that was a very weird scene. The third pair was again in very poor taste. Well, the first time you get it in the dream sequence, and then the second time you get it when Andy rips open her blouse, and that's never cool. And then the fourth pair is always the beautiful and amazing Linnea Quigley. She did this a year before Return of the Living Dead. So it's always wonderful to see her popping up in all these movies. You get 2 killer Santa Clauses, which you don't always get that, so that's pretty interesting. The deaths are actually really cool. Linnea Quigley's is the best when she gets impaled onto the deer antlers. Everything else is pretty subpar. I like the scene where the guy's skiing down on his little sled and Billy comes up with the axe and just knocks his head off. From there, we get the hammer in the head with Ira. We get his assistant, I can't remember her name, she gets an arrow straight through the back. That was pretty cool. One of the guys just gets tossed out the window, and you see that he's impaled by shards of glass, and I think it was the second floor that he fell from. It was honestly a very good slasher film. 1984, we had already had all the waves of the slasher craze. This wasn't the first Christmas slasher movie to come out, because in 1980 we had Christmas Evil, and to go back in time, we had the segments from the Tales from the Crypt movie in 1972 and All Through the House. So we done had killer Santa Claus movies before. We done had Christmas horror movies being Black Christmas that came out in 74, and we even had Gremlins that came out in June of 74, just a couple years before Silent Night, Deadly Night. So it's not that horror in Christmas or horror in Santa Claus was a rarity. For some reason, this movie really sparked an outrage. People protested. One of the protesters was the classic actor Mickey Rooney, and he was very against this film. And the funny part was a few years later, for part 5, he played one of the main characters, one somewhat of a bad guy, I would say. Pedo, I think his name was. So that was interesting. One of the good parts of it was, it came from the protesting, was people wanted to see it. So it had a pretty low budget. I'm not saying like low budget, but a lower budget, but it was able to make the money back and more with all the protests, because everybody who didn't want you to see it, of course you're going to go see it. Siskel and Ebert, for some reason, they had a hard-on for this film. They had did a showing of it saying, "Shame on you," and called out the writer and director, so that was somewhat rude. But Silent Night, Deadly Night it holds its place in horror history and slasher history. And I'm not going to say that it sparked the Christmas horror subgenre, but it definitely helped it move along, because from there we got so many more from years to come. So, like I said, I say check it out, give it a shot. It's a very fun movie, some mean-spiritedness towards it. The portrayal of the Catholic Church definitely had some of the reason why the protest was there. So, but give it a shot. Silent Night, Deadly Night spawned 4 sequels and a remake. 2 pretty much picked up years later with a now grown-up Ricky Chapman causing chaos, dressed up as Santa Claus and killing people, and they have a lot of flashbacks to the first one. So technically you don't have to watch the first one to watch the second one, because it shows you the whole parts of it. The third one, again, Ricky Chapman, played by a different actor. This time he's Bill Moseley, and he's somehow psychically linked to this blonde girl. It was weird, but it's fun at the same time. Part 4 is what I'd probably say was the worst one, in my opinion. It has something to do with some witches, and it was kind of weird. And that one was directed by Brian Usna, so of course you're going to get the bugs and the gore and Clint Howard, and it's kind of a mess. Part 5 has a weird toy store that has these evil toys that come to life and kill people. It's always fun. But again, we get Clint Howard in that one. So thank you for tuning into my review. If you can please give me a like and a subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who has viewed and shared and enjoyed my show, and I do it for everybody. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have a great day, and thank you.